Hi everyone, it's Sereni from Design Plus Code. Welcome back for another UI design with iOS. Today, I have prepared for you a map app with a mix of dark mode and Glassmorphism style. Let's have a look on what we will build together. In this tutorial, I will show you the second screen with the map, direction navigation, this bottom sheet with the direction status, and we will do the third screen, such as this save screen. So I will show you how to create this date picker, the mileage chart, and the custom tab bar. I will show you also how to create this custom navigation button with 3D effect. So are you ready? Let's get started. On this tutorial, you would need the SF symbol from Apple. SF symbol is a library of iconography designed to integrate seamlessly with San Francisco, the system font for Apple platform. Symbol come in 9 ways and 3 scale and automatically align with text label. Or you can download the icon on the community. For example, I need a lot of directional symbol, so I can just duplicate from Lauren Herdat, or you can download the plugin and type icon. So you can download any icon plugin that can save you a lot of time. So far, I download a lot of plugin because I need different free icon. And then you will need the basic component that you can duplicate the iOS 15 UI kit from Joybank. Alright, I think that's it for the resource. So let's begin. So we're going to do the top part, such as we're going to do from the status bar to the step for the direction. So let's begin with the top navigation. Let's create a new screen. So press A from your keyboard shortcut and take the iPhone 13 Pro and bring here. So for the corner radius for the screen is going to be 40 degree, and we're going to add the linear gradient with 2 colors. So instead of the solid, we're going to select linear. So the top color is going to be this light gray and the bottom is going to be this dark gray. There you go. Let's bring the basic component such as the status bar and the home indicator. I create the component for you that you can reuse from my Figma file, or you can go get the component directly on the iOS 15 UI kit for Figma from Joybank. But I recommend you to duplicate yourself and copy and paste instead. So take the status bar and we're going to paste right there. So align horizontal center and align top. There you go. Let's bring the home indicator. I'm going to paste here and align horizontal and align bottom and chain for home indicator. Let's align bottom. There you go. The basic component is added. Now let's create the lightning effect on the background. So press O on your keyboard shortcut, or you can take the shape tool here and take the ellipse. So create an ellipse 200 by 200 pixel and bring a little bit at the top. So, and we're going to add the color, this red color. Take the dropper and take this color. Let's decrease the opacity to 40% and add an effect layer blur to 200. There you go. Duplicate, or you can option and drag. Bring at the bottom right and change the color for this blue. Do the same thing, decrease the opacity to 40%. There you go. Let's bring a little bit. Let's create another ellipse, but we're going to do the stroke instead. Let's create 300 by 300 pixel. Add the stroke, pick up the fill color and change for the red. And maybe put on the top right corner. Decrease the opacity to 30% like this. Duplicate another stroke. Let's bring at the left a little bit and we're going to resize this one. So increase the size a little bit. So press K on your keyboard shortcut and drag the corner and make it bigger a little bit like this. So you can play with the stroke, of course. Maybe something like this. So the background is done. Now let's create the top navigation with this beautiful shape for the button. So let's begin with this triangle. So you can take the polygon on the shape tool and create a triangle. For the size, it's going to be 100 146 by 118. Let's rotate to -90. Okay, we're going to put manually, bring at the right for now. So we're going to put the radius on this right corner. So to edit, press enter, take this middle point, and we're going to change the corner radius to 28 degrees. When you're done, click on done. So when you change the corner radius, the size change. So let's bring back to the 146 by 118. There you go. So it plays automatically for me. Now let's add the linear gradient with two colors. For the left color is going to be this dark gray, and the right is going to be this light gray. We're going to add the inner shadow on effect. So for the color is going to be white. For the white portion is going to be 1 and blur 1. Let's add overlay on the blending mode. There you go. Now next step, we're going to add this left chevron. So let's bring the left chevron from the SF symbol. You can search on the search panel, chevron. I'm going to take this one. So Command C, bring here. So to paste the symbol, you need to press T first, like when you want to write a text label. So click and Command V, paste the symbol. There we go. We're going to add a frame for this symbol. So Option Command G, there we go. The frame is add. For the frame, it's going to be 44 by 44. So you can see it's not aligned. So take this chevron and center properly. There you go. We're going to bring inside of this shape. I'm going to name this left chevron. So select this polygon and this chevron together, and Option Command G to add a frame. So we can center again to make sure it's aligned center. Bring maybe a little bit at the left, maybe with 20 spacing. So I can name back button. So duplicate this layer. Command D to duplicate. Right click, flip horizontal and align right. There we go. All we need to do is change this symbol. So I'm going to take this one to make it fast. So Command C and Command V. There you go. For the color style, it's going to be secondary color. So select this chevron. I'm going to go on the color style and select label secondary, or manually it's this color with 60% of opacity. For the text style is SF Pro Display 17 and dark secondary color. You can put manually the color. You can put white, for example, and set the opacity to 60 to make like a secondary color. So the top navigation is done. Now let's create the waypoint navigation system with the step description. So let's begin with the text label first. So type T from your keyboard shortcut. We're going to copy the address. So to make it fast, I'm going to just copy paste from this one. Command V, there we go. Option and drag for the second text. I'm going to copy again, Command V. So for the secondary text label is this light gray and the opacity is 60%. For the first one is white. So add vertical auto layout together. Select the two text and Shift A from your keyboard shortcut, or you can go there and add on the plus. So Shift A, the auto layout is add. So for the spacing, it's going to be 4, padding 0. Now let's add this icon. So for the directional symbol, I go on the community and I took from Lauren Hedas. So you can just duplicate and take this icon. So Command C, go back to your work, paste here, and we're going to change the color. For this blue, I'm going to create the round shape. So I'm going to change the corner radius to 4 degrees. Select this arrow. So enter. Take the two bottom point and set to 4 degrees as well, and done. Now we're going to add the horizontal auto layout between the icon and the text label. So select both and Shift A, add auto layout again. So for the spacing is 28 with 10 padding, and I'm going to resize manually to 330 and center. Let's add the fill color to see the contrast. So I'm going to select this gray and decrease to 35%. Now I'm going to add the independent corner on this corner, except this one I'm going to select rectangle. For the top left corner is 15 degree. For the top right corner is going to be 15 as well. And for the bottom right corner radius, it's going to be 15 degree, like this. Center. So now let's create this step-by-step description for the direction. We're going to go back and take the turn left icon. So Command C, bring here. I'm going to decrease the size to 24 by 24. So you can lock the constraint proportion and chain for 24. There you go. And for the color, I'm going to chain for white instead. Now let's add the text. I'm going to hide T and write then. So for the text style is the same thing as this one. So we're going to add the horizontal between this icon and the text. So Shift A. For the spacing is going to be 2, padding 10, and center. Now let's add fill color to see the contrast. It's going to be the same dark gray, but this time with 100% of opacity. So I'm going to bring at the bottom, and we're going to change the corner radius at the two bottom corner. So do the same thing. Go to the independent corner. So I need the two bottom. So for the left bottom is going to be 15, and same thing for the bottom. There you go. So we're going to add the final vertical auto layer. So I'm just going to name this layer waypoint, and this one is going to be next step. So add vertical auto layout, Shift A. So the auto layout is added. Why I add the auto layout? Because if I want to add the next step, I can just duplicate and change the corner radius. For example, I can set this one is going to be 0. Same thing for this one. Make it fast. It should be something like this. All right, the top part is done. So let's continue the design. We're going to add the map image. You can take the screenshot from your phone on your Google Map or any navigation app. For my design, I took the screenshot on my application Google Maps and I bring on the design. So let's do it. So I'm going to Command C the map and bring to my design. So make sure that the map is completely at the bottom and center everything. So let's add the dark color to make like a dark mode. So select this image and add fill color. We're going to set to 100% first and add radial gradient. So for the first color, it's going to be this gray with 0 opacity. And the second color is going to be this gray. So let's play a little bit. It should look like this. So let's draw the line direction using the pen tool. I'm going to follow the line like this. When I'm finished, click on done. For the stroke is 2. And for the color, I take from this red and I add the linear color. So the bottom, it should be 100%. And for the top right, I decrease to 0 opacity to make like a smooth line. Next step I'm going to do is duplicate this line. So Command D, the bottom is going to be blurred and the top is going to be line. For the blur, I'm going to add layer blurred on the effect and the blur strength is going to be 16, like this. Next, we're going to create this current location icon. So I'm going to add a frame. So press A on your keyboard shortcut and create a frame 58 by 58. There you go. And we're going to add a shape. So press O on your keyboard shortcut, or you can select the ellipse tool and create ellipse 58 by 58 and center. I'm going to take this blue, and for the opacity is going to be 10%. So I'm going to duplicate another ellipse. So Command D, decrease to 33. So you can lock the constraint proportion and change the number for 33. Increase the opacity to 40% and center it like this. I'm going to duplicate another ellipse. So Command D, the size is going to be 16. Center it again, and I'm going to set 100%. And I'm going to add the stroke with white color and screen to be 1.5. There we go. I'm going to name current location icon. So normally when you move your card, this icon will follow you. So I'm going to put here for now. I'm going to add the background blur on this big ellipse. So go to on the effect, background blur, and I'm going to change the blur for 10. There we go. So we're going to create this location icon. Take the polygon tool and create the size for 82 by 62. And we're going to flip. So right click, flip vertical, enter, take the top point and play with the corner radius until it's round. And we're going to take the bottom point and go to 5 degrees like this. So the first shape is done. When you change the corner radius, the size change in the same time. Let's bring back to 82 by 62. There you go. I'm going to put more around like this. So the first shape is done. I'm going to add the linear. So for the top color is going to be this blue and the bottom is going to be this light blue. Let's skew a little bit like this. Now we're going to add a circle at the middle. So I'm going to create an ellipse. So press O on your keyboard shortcut and make a side 16 by 16. Let's center a little bit, and for the color is going to be white. So we're going to add a frame. So press A on your keyboard shortcut and make the side 78 by 78 and bring everything inside. There we go. Let's center again. So we're going to duplicate this shape. Command D on the polygon. So the bottom layer, you can increase the size. So press K on your keyboard shortcut and you will see 2 arrows. So drag a little bit and center. We're going to change the linear for solid and decrease the opacity to 20 degrees. I'm going to resize a little bit more, maybe something like this. So center again. So there you go. My location icon is done. So I'm going to name it location icon and I'm going to bring here. I'm going to add the background blur like this one. So go on effect, background blur and change for 10. There you go. The map is done. Next, we're going to create this side setting with the tree icon. So to create this icon, we need the icon from a plugin. So go to the community, go to plugin and type icon. You can download the icon scout. It's free for the basic icon, but if you want to have all style icon, you have to subscribe to Pro member. So I'm going to right click and icon scout. Normally you need to log in on the original website first. So here is all the price. All you need to do is select free, and for the style, select line or flat, whatever you want. So search for the icon. For example, I'm going to search for search. So I have a lot of style. I'm going to take this one. So just select and it's download. So we can see it appear here. We need to add a frame first, a frame 24 by 24 and bring this icon here, center it. Next, we're going to add another frame, or you can create ellipse for the background, 44 by 44. Bring the icon on this circle, select and add another frame. So Option Command G and the frame is add. I'm going to name search. I'm going to center again. There we go. For the color, it's going to be white with 8% of opacity. I'm going to add background blur on the effect to make it nice. Let's say 10. There we go. My first icon is done. So I'm going to duplicate or option and drag 3 times. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to search for volume, and this one is current location. So to make it fast, I'm going to just copy paste. So Shift Option Command V to paste. So I'm going to take this one, Command C, Shift Option Command V to paste over there. There you go. I'm going to name properly the icon. So this one is going to be volume, and this one is going to be current location. Then we're going to add vertical auto layout. So Shift A from your keyboard shortcut. So for the spacing, it's going to be 20. Okay, I'm going to align with the 30 spacing. So you can just press on option. When you press on option, you can see the spacing between the screen edge. So I'm going to go at the right a little bit. So at 30 like this, because I want to align with this direction steps. So there you go. My side setting is done. Let's bring at the top a little bit, something like this. And I'm going to bring a little bit at the top. There we go. For the map section is done. So in this section, we will do this bottom sheet with the status navigation, and we're going to create this drag handle, the description, and this action button. So let's begin with the text label first. We're going to start with the primary text label. So type T from your keyboard shortcut and write the custom number as you want. So for the text style is SF Pro display semi-bold 20. And for the color style is already set to white by default. So we're going to let it like that. Next, we're going to write the secondary text. This time is going to be 17. And the color is going to be the secondary color. Normally, I use the color system because I have a Pro account, so I can use the asset easily. But for you guys, for those who don't have a Pro account, it's better you enter the number of this color manually. So I'm going to show you like this. So for the secondary, it's going to be this color. And for the opacity, it's going to be 60%, like this. So we're going to add the vertical auto layout between the two texts. So select and Shift A together. So for the spacing, it's going to be 0. So I'm going to change the text for variable. The first row is the total estimated time you will travel. The second row is the time you have left to get to your destination. And the third row is the kilometers you have left to go. So let's option and drag 3 times and add horizontal auto layout. And for the spacing, it's going to be 100 and center. All I need to do is change the text. So I'm going to copy and paste to make it fast. So for this one, it's going to be minute or hour. It depends of your time of your destination. By the way, it's a random description. Next, we're going to create this drag handle. What you can do is duplicate this home indicator. So I'm going to option and drag. So to edit, you need to detach and stand. So right click, detach and stand. And we're going to resize manually this rectangle to 36 and center. There we go. The drag handle is done. I'm going to name drag handle. There we go. Next, we're going to create this action button. So press T and right and I'm going to add auto layout on this text label. So Shift A, there we go. So for the spacing is going to be 10. I'm going to set manually the padding. So for the left and right padding is going to be 20. And for the top and bottom is going to be 8 padding and center. So I'm going to add the fill color on the plus. And I'm going to set the linear gradient. For the top color is going to be this red. And the bottom is going to be this dark red. Let's drag manually to maybe 112. And for the corner radius is going to be 40. There we go. I'm going to add a stroke to add the reflection like this one. So go to the stroke and click on the plus. I'm going to change for linear gradient. So the two color is going to be white. So the top we're going to keep 100% and the bottom is going to be 0% of opacity. Now let's add the blend mode and go to overlay to blend with the color of this button. Now we're going to add the vertical auto layout to make like a bottom modal sheet. So select the 3 layer and Shift A to add auto layout. Let's center it. So I'm going to add manually the padding. So for the left, right, and bottom, padding is going to be 30. 30 bottom and 30 for the right. Align horizontal center and align bottom. I'm going to drag manually to fit with the screen edge. And I'm going to change the park to space between. And I'm going to drag manually the height to 220, like this. And I'm going to add the fill color and decrease the opacity to 45% and add the blend mode in changeful overlay. And for the corner radius is going to be 40 degree. Now we're going to add the stroke with linear gradient. So the two colors is going to be white both. And I'm going to changeful overlay as well. So there we go. Next, last thing we need to do is add the background blur on effect, change drop shadow to background blur. So blur is going to be 40. There we go. The bottom part is now done. Now that we create the wall screen, we can move to the second screen, such as the save screen, which contains the timeline history. So first thing we're going to do is duplicate the first screen, Command D. We're going to keep the basic component in the top navigation, and we're going to add the title. We're going to keep this bottom sheet, and the rest we can delete. So delete this one. But for now, I'm going to hide the bottom sheet for now. So what I can do is change the symbol. So to make it fast, I'm going to copy paste. So Command C and Command B. I'm going to add a title and I'm going to write timeline. So for the fonts, it's SF Pro Display Semi-Bold 17 with primary color. It's already set to white color by default. So let's bring inside of this layout. So the title is done. Next, we're going to create this date picker. So first thing we're going to do is create this icon. You can do it by yourself. You can use the pen tool and create yourself the triangle. So type P on your keyboard shortcut and create a triangle to 12 by 6 pixel. There we go. I'm going to add the color fill and take up the stroke. There we go. My drop-down icon is done. If you want to be sure that it's proportional, you can use the pixel grid or you can use the ruler to make sure that the middle point is at the middle, like this. So we're going to create this text label. So for the first column, it's going to be the year. I'm going to write 2022. It's a custom date, so you can choose whatever you want. So for the fonts, I'm going to change for display regular 17. There we go. So let's add auto layout together with this icon. But first of all, I'm going to add a frame first, a frame for this icon. So press A on your keyboard shortcut. You can create manually the rectangle like this. And for the side, it's going to be 44 pixel by 44. And bring your icon inside of this frame and center it. Now, I'm going to name it drop down icon and bring next to this text label and add auto layout together. So Shift A, and for the spacing is 0 and 0 padding. I'm going to option and drag. The middle is going to be the month. So you can write anything you want. So I'm going to write April. And for the third column, it's going to be the date, for example, 15. I'm going to add another auto layout together. First of all, I'm going to name this year. This one is going to be month, and this one is going to be day. So select and Shift A to add auto layout. Spacing is going to be 2, and the padding is going to be 14, and center. So for the third column, we're going to add a fill color to make the hover effect when the mouse is enter. So I'm going to add a fill color with white, and I'm going to decrease to 8%. And I'm going to add inner shadow. For the white portion is going to be 1 and blurred 1. And I'm going to add overlay. And for the color is going to be white. There we go. So for the top part is done. Next, we're going to create the chart. To create this chart, we will need to add the layout grid here. You can just click on the plus. We're going to change the size for 20 pixel to help me to align properly my element. So for this one, I'm going to show you with this 20 pixel. So let's begin to create the text label first. For the first line is going to be 20 kilometer. For the fonts is SF Pro Display Semi-Bold 12 for the primary text label. And for the second text label is going to be regular. Okay, so I'm going to option and drag I'm going to add vertical auto layout together. For the spacing, it's going to be 20. So let me duplicate first. I'm going to change the number. For this one, it's going to be 15. This one, 10. This one, 5. And this one, 0. So let's align a little bit. So for the rest of the text, it's going to be secondary color. So I'm going to set this color manually for secondary. And it's going to be regular. There you go. And I'm going to decrease the opacity to 60%. There we go. So for the text label is done. Now we're going to create the chart. I'm going to create a rectangle. For example, you can follow the line. For the width, it's going to be 20. And for the corner radius, it's going to be 40. So to make sure if you are on the line, you can zoom in and make sure it's aligned with the pixel grid. So I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to bring at the second column. This time I'm going to change the height. So I'm going to add horizontal auto layout together, and I'm going to align bottom, and I'm going to duplicate again. I'm going to change for this one, make a little bit different. And for the color, I will use linear gradient with 2 tones of red. So I'm going to add linear gradient. So for the top color is going to be this red, and the bottom is going to be this dark red. But I will decrease the opacity to 0. I'm going to add the stroke. Do the same thing, add linear. The color is going to be white for both. And I'm going to add the blend mode to overlay. I'm going to decrease the opacity to 50 to make it blend a little bit with the background. I'm going to copy property, or you can just Option Command C to make it fast. So I'm going to select all the layer that I need. So I'm going to Option Command V to pass property. And for this one, it's going to be another color. It's going to be the blue. So I'm going to add linear color. For the top, it's going to be this blue. And the bottom, it's going to be this blue, but with 0%. Do the same thing with the stroke, linear gradient, change for white. I'm going to add overlay. The vibrant gradient means the current days, so that's why the color is different from the others. So for example, I want to see the history of my mileage chart. I want to know what is the activity on the April 15th. Okay, missing one. I'm going to duplicate another one. We're going to put at the middle a little bit like this. So for this one, it's going to be maybe like this. By the way, April 15th is on the Friday, so you can just switch. Okay, next we're going to add the bottom text label with the days. Do the same thing. I'm going to write, for example, Monday. So it's the same font. So I'm going to put at the bottom of the chart. So I'm going to add auto layout again with 20 spacing and 0 padding. So I'm going to duplicate for now. So I'm going to change for Tuesday. I'm going to name chart, and this one I'm going to name kilometer. Next, I'm going to add vertical between the chart and the days category. So Shift A for the days width, I'm going to fit with the chart size. So the width is 260. So I'm going to drag manually to 260, and I'm going to change for space between on the padding. So I'm going to align bottom. So space between, it's going to have all the empty space. So I'm going to keep the Friday with the primary color, and the rest is going to be secondary color. So to make it fast, I'm going to Option Command C, and I select all the text, and I'm going to Option Command V. There you go. So this line is going to be the main date that I choose to see the history. Let's add a frame together. I'm going to take off the layout grid first, and I'm going to add auto layout, and I'm going to align bottom. There you go. So let's name it mileage chart and center it. Of course, you can play with the spacing between items to make a little bit small or big. It's up to your choice. So for the chart is done, we will do the bottom sheet with the map list using the background blur, and we will add the separator. First thing that we're going to do, we're going to add some lightning effect. I'm going to move this one and bring here. You can play with the shape as you want. I'm going to duplicate another one and bring here at the bottom. Next, we're going to copy this bottom sheet and paste to this second screen. All we need to do is change the icon and the text, and then we will create this separator between the subhead and the map list. So you will need the SF symbol. So we're going to search for this symbol that you can use like for the kilometer. So Command C. So I'm going to change the top text label and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to change for kilometer like this. So to make it fast, I'm going to copy and paste. There we go. And this one is going to be map. So as you can see, I have four column. So I'm going to duplicate one more, and I'm going to change for space between instead. Let's drag manually, or you can change the width to 390. I'm going to add extra frame on this symbol. Option Command G, then change the size for 44 by 44 and center. I'm going to add the left and right padding to 10. So left padding is going to be 10 and right padding is going to be 10. So I'm going to change the text for kilometer. What I can do, I can just duplicate to make it fast. So I'm going to duplicate both times. So I'm going to delete the rest. So I'm going to change for space between instead. And I'm going to fit the width with the screen edge. So I'm going to change for 390. All I need to do is change the icon and the text. To make it fast, I'm going to just copy and paste like this. And for this one, it's going to be following. This one, map. And this one, save. There we go. For the size, it's not finalized yet because we're going to add another element. We will need this symbol. We're going to create separately because it's inside of the auto layout, so it's going to be hard to work inside of this frame. I'm going to duplicate this left arrow and I'm going to bring here for now. So do the same thing, option and drag. So I'm going to change the icon, or you can just flip horizontal to make it fast. So I'm going to write the text at the middle. To make it fast, I'm going to copy again and paste. There you go. And I will bring this drop down icon and I'm going to put next to my text here. So I'm going to add horizontal auto layout between this icon and my text. So Shift A, I'm going to center, and next I'm going to add another auto layout between the text label and the arrow button. So I'm going to name this one, it's going to be right. This one is going to be day. So I'm going to select all of the three items and Shift A. I'm going to add the padding to center it and add the left and right padding to 20. And I'm going to change for space between instead. And for the width, it's going to be 390 to fit with the screen center. And then I'm going to add this separator. Let's create a rectangle from 390 by 1 pixel to create a separator. Then add the vertical auto layout with this one and the separator together. So Shift 8, with the spacing is going to be 0. There you go, the separator is done. We're going to insert this subhead inside of this layout, and we're going to put below of the drag handle component. So let's bring this inside of this auto layout and make sure to bring at the bottom of this drag handle. And I'm going to add another auto layout together between the header and the drag handle. So Shift 8. So for the spacing and padding, I will keep it 0. And then I'm going to add the padding at the left and the right. So we're going to change the padding and the spacing on this layout. Okay, normally on the first screen, the padding is 30 for the left, right, and bottom. But for this one, I'm going to change for 20 instead. And I will keep 30 for the bottom padding. So for the alignment is center. So let's maybe resize the height to 340. So for this screen, we don't need this button. So we can take it off. And I'm going to change the color for separator. I'm going to change the color for this gray. There we go. So manually, the code for this color is this dark gray. And for the spacing, I'm going to change for 20 instead. So for this tab, I'm going to resize for 342 instead for the width. So there you go. Now it looks similar. Okay, next we're going to create this bottom tab bar. So we're going to create this bottom tab bar with the neon light effect using layer blur, and we're going to create this action button. So let's begin. You will need to add the layout grid first to help you. So click on the plus on the layout grid. Keep the grid with 10 pixels. Now let's create a rectangle. So press R on your keyboard shortcut. Create the rectangle 390 by 90 pixel. So align bottom. We're going to add the middle point handles. So enter, click on this point to activate the point handles. So we're going to add another point. Take this one and drag about 4 pixels and half from the left, and do the same thing for the right side. By the way, is 4 pixels. We're going to take this middle point and we're going to go down around 5 to 6 pixels from the bottom. 1, 2, 5. So for the middle points, we're going to add the corner radius to 10, and the point here, the radius is going to be 30 degrees. There we go. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom point. So click on this point. We're going to add the second point. This time it's going to be 1 pixel from the left and 1 pixel from the right. So we're going to take this middle point and go to the top with 1 pixel. There you go. So for the middle point, it's going to be 8 degrees, and for the two bottom point, it's going to be 16 degrees. Now let's select all the 4 corner. It's going to be 25 degrees. There we go. Now we're going to add the linear gradient. So on the fill palette, we're going to add the linear color. For the top color, it's going to be this blue, and the bottom is going to be a little bit dark like this. We're going to add the inner shadow on effect. We're going to change the white position to 1. For the blur, it's going to be 0. There you go. Next, we're going to duplicate this shape. So Command D, make sure to select the bottom layer, and this time we're going to change the color for solid color. This time it's going to be this red. So enter the layer. We're going to go up for 1 pixel this time, and for this point I'm going to put back, and I'm going to add the background blur. For the blur, it's going to be 38 or 40 like you want, and the opacity is going to be 30%. Next, we're going to add this neon light effect. We're going to create an ellipse at the middle and make sure to put between the two shapes. So for the color, it's going to be this pink red, and I'm going to add the layer blur to 16, something like this. Now we're going to create this action button with the same location icon from the first screen. I'm going to copy this one, put at the middle a little bit, make sure it's outside of the frame. Center, go down a little bit like this. We're going to change the color. Copy property, and I'm going to paste property. So Option Command V. There we go. It's the same color as this button. The difference, I just changed for radial gradient instead. So I'm going to change the icon for the plus icon. So you can use the plugin. So right click, go to the icon scout, select free. And for the style, I'm going to select line, and I'm going to search for plus. I'm going to take this one. So Command X, I'm going to paste over there. So Shift Option Command V. So it's going to replace automatically. Let's center it a little bit. And I'm going to change the stroke color. So it's going to be white with 10% opacity. And I'm going to add a background blur to maybe 10. And I'm going to add the stroke with linear gradient. So for the top color, it's going to be white and white for the bottom. And I'm going to change for overlay. I'm going to decrease the opacity to 50%. And for this plus, I'm going to change for white. And make sure that this action button is in front of this tab. I'm going to put this layer at the top so we can see the shape of the neon light effect at the back. So let's take off the grid for now so we can see the contrast. Maybe the stroke, I'm going to put 0.5 instead, like this. So we're going to create a small circle. So press O on your keyboard shortcut and we're going to create an ellipse 2 pixel by 2 pixel and center. For the color, we're going to take this blue. So there you go. You can keep this little point or you can take off. It's like you want. So next, let's add the tab with the icon. So for the tab, you can take the symbol from SF symbol, or you can go get the icon on the community or the icon from the plugin. It's your choice. For example, here is from Icon Scout. So I'm going to make it simple. So we're going to use the Icon Scout plugin like this one. So first of all, what I need to do is to have my icon. Normally, by default, the size of the frame of the icon is all 24 by 24. For example, I want to have the icon from Icon Scout. So I'm going to select free. And for the style, I'm going to select line. I'm going to search for plus. We're going to put this icon inside of a frame from 44 by 44 pixel. Insert and bring it inside. Center it. Set the corner radius to 30 degree. Take off the fill color. We're going to change for linear gradient. And for the top color is going to be this red, and the bottom is going to be this dark red. So I'm going to select this color and decrease the opacity to 60. So my first icon is done. What you need to do is just duplicate, or you can option and drag, then select auto layout together. So Shift 8, there you go. And you can just duplicate 5 times, because for the middle, we're going to hide and let a space in the middle. What you need to do is just change the icon, and the stroke is for the main page. For example, this screen is save screen, so the color will be different from the others. So to make it fast, I'm going to copy and paste. So for the first icon is going to be explore screen. The second is going to be go. Normally we have the save screen at the middle, and we have contribute, and we have update. If I follow the real app from Google Apps on my phone, it's exactly the same icon. So I'm going to hide the contribute icon. I will put the save screen here instead. To copy paste, I can just Shift Option Command V. There we go. Same thing. So Command C, Shift Option Command V. I'm going to copy this bell icon. Command C, Shift Option Command V. There we go. So for this screen, we will keep this saved screen as a main page. So we will keep this row. For the other, you can take up this row like this. There you go. Let me change the color for every icon. It should be the secondary color. And for this one, it's going to be white as a primary color. You can add this little circle if you want, or you can take it up. It's optional if you want to make like more fancy. You only need to create a small circle here, 3 by 3. So I'm going to add auto layout together. For this one, I'm going to align center. There you go. And for the spacing is 4. We can keep this same red color as this one. So this is optional. You can take off, or you can add the circle. So we're going to add auto layout together. So Shift A, center, and we're going to add the padding. So for the left and right padding is going to be 20 each. And for the top is going to be 10, 10. And I'm going to set to space between. And the size is going to be the same size to fit with the screen edge. So it's 390. And we're going to bring inside of this frame. So let's bring there, center. So don't forget to hide this one. You can just decrease the opacity to 0 like this. Then we're going to add a frame together, and Option Command G. There we go. Let's center again. This first icon is about explore. The second is about go, where you want to go. This one is save, and you can find the timeline, the history. And this one is about update. So for my tab bar is done. If you were able to follow all the steps from screen 1 to screen 2, then congratulations, you just create an entire map app from scratch. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and find it useful. Now go ahead and build your amazing map app with Figma. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you for the next tutorial. Bye guys!